Is it running?
Yes.
I didn't hear the little bing. Anyway, so we're on an upper intermediate lesson. I'm going to be doing this again on Thursday when we do conversation class. So some of this stuff will come up again. But let's go through what we've done so far. If you take something for granted, we assume or we expect something to be in a particular way. And of course, as soon as we assume something, we get very disappointed or angry because it's never how we expect it to be. And of course, this is very similar to if you take somebody for granted. If we take somebody for granted, we assume or expect that they will do certain things for you or they will act in a certain way. And when you take somebody for granted, you just stop appreciating them anymore. And that's really important to remember. It's the same for this. You stop really, when you take things for granted, people for granted, you stop appreciating those things. To take the rough with the smooth basically means sometimes things will be difficult, sometimes things will be easy, and you just need to accept it, accept these facts of life. Now, if you take up something, we start it. It's usually when we use the phrasal verb to take up, it means to start a hobby. But in this context, it was starting a new job, so it can actually mean both things. And if you look down here, if you take somebody up on their offer, you accept their offer. But if you look down here, if you take something up with somebody, we talk to them about some sort of issue. So this phrasal verb, take up, can be used in many different ways to mean many different things. And that's the challenge with phrasal verbs. If you take offence at something, you basically get offended. You get hurt and angry at something that somebody has done or said. If you are taken aback, you are quite surprised about something. You're like, wow, I wasn't expecting that. Now, if two people are taken with each other, they get on really well. There's love in the air. You can see just the way they look at each other. There's all that love. And you say, oh, you guys, you're really taken with each other, aren't we? Oh, sweet. To take somebody in means to trick them, or in a worse context, to con them out of money if you take somebody in. Of course, over here, sometimes we have trouble taking something in, which means we have trouble understanding it. So once again, the same phrasal verb, meaning different things. This is to take something in, to understand it. Here is to take somebody in, to con them, to trick them. To take something out on somebody is when something makes me angry and I take it out on somebody else. This can be a challenging thing for the other person. Yeah, because suddenly you're angry and it's nothing to do with them. It's not their problem. To take your mind off something means to do something in order to stop thinking about this problem that you've got. You know, you get really wound up in this problem and you can't stop thinking about it. And your friend will say, well, why don't you just go to cinema or something like that to take your mind off your problems? And finally, I've written take off, and take off, because they all mean different things in different contexts. To take off might mean to imitate somebody. Oh, he really takes off the President Trump. Have you seen these people taking off President Trump and dressing up and going, yeah. Take off can also mean to remove, to take off your glasses, to take off your clothes, to remove your clothes. It can also mean to take off, the plane takes off, it leaves the ground and fly. So it's really important to really look at the context of a sentence. This is quite an interesting one before we finish. To take off means to remove. It's very physical. I take off my clothes. I do something very physical. But these ones are idiomatic phrasal verbs. So it's really important to think, is this a literal phrasal verb? Do you actually mean you want me to take off my clothes? Or do you want the plane to take off? The plane won't take off its clothes. It will leave the ground and fly. You take off your father. I don't remove my father or his clothing. I imitate him. So it's really important to look at the differences between literal phrasal verbs, which means you do something physical, or like, no, I won't go into it in too much detail because we're going to be doing some more next week. Okay, that's it.